Hello students, welcome to Unit 7, Transformations. And in this video, we'll talk about four things. One of them will be uh, vertical shift or horizontal shift, whether the graph opens up or down. And then we'll talk about vertical stretch or vertical shrink. So before we start with more details, let's review some basic functions that we discussed in this class or in Algebra 1. The first function that you were exposed to is y equals mx plus b. Okay, and this is technically a linear function that goes up or goes down. If slope is positive, the line goes up. If slope is negative, line goes down. Technically, the line could be also horizontal if slope is 0, or the line could be vertical, which is not technically a function. An example could be x equals 7. X equals 7 is a vertical line that goes through 7, 0. Now, the second function we discussed in this class was the absolute value function, and it's basically a V shape. It opens up or it could open down. And later in the video, we'll review how do we know whether the graph opens up or down. And I think the most important function in this class is the quadratic, which is a U shape, or you can also call this a parabola. Okay, and a parabola sometimes opens up and sometimes opens down. Okay, so transformations changes the graph, shape, size, position, and direction. Okay, so you can think about size. Now, position means left or right, up or down. And the direction, whether the parabola opens down or whether the parabola opens up. Okay? Okay, let's look at some examples. Translations. Changes position. Now, we're going to talk about the parent function in a few minutes, but maybe I should write it here. The parent function for a parabola is y equals x squared. And this graph goes to the vertex. Okay? And then if you want to know few order pairs, will be 1, 1. It would be 1, 1, and it could be 2, 4. How do I know the numbers? When x is 1, y is 1. When x is 2, y is 4. When x is 3, y is 9. And also same thing on this side. This is symmetric. Now, when you draw this, this should be a U letter. Okay, sorry for my handwriting, but it's very difficult to write a perfect U letter. So, horizontal shift. Okay, so if I write this, y equals x plus 3 to the second power, many students think that you will move 3 to your right because it's plus 3. No, in fact, we are moving 3 to the left. So we are moving left 3. So the new function would be over here. Okay, so I'm going to put the new function using dotted lines. Okay, so the new function x plus 3 would be 3 units to your left. Now, if I wrote minus 3, it would actually move 3 units to your right. Now, vertical shift along the y-axis, which means technically up or down. So the parent function is y equals x squared, okay, which kind of looks like this. And now, what if I type y equals x squared minus 4? So this technically moves 4 down. So this means 4 down. So your new vertex would be at 0, negative 4. And your new function, if you use dotted line, will look like this. Okay, so the graph, you moved 4 units down. Let's talk about reflections. Reflections means changes direction, whether it can open up or down. Now we know that the parent function y equals x squared opens up. And how do we know this? There's 1 in front of it. In other words, the leading coefficient a is equal to 1. So this graph will look like this. Now what happens if I do y equals negative x squared? As many of you most likely predict, like slope is negative, line goes down. So the new graph will be reflected with respect to x-axis, or in other words, it will open down. Oh, actually, this should be down over here. So this graph should be over here. Okay? So this is y equals negative x squared, and this graph is y equals x squared. And the last concept we will discuss on this page is vertical stretch. A graph becomes narrower. Look at the wording because sometimes this is tricky. Vertical stretch means graph becomes narrower, and a vertical shrink means graph becomes wider. Now, if you think about typical graph, typical equation y equals x squared, there is 1 in front of it. Technically, it's 1x squared. So what happens? So y equals x squared looks like this. Okay? What happens when I put y equals, let's say, 4x squared? What's going to happen to the graph? The graph will become narrower, which means it will look like this. The vertex will be still 0, 0, but the graph would be very narrow. Just one comment about my graphs. They are not to the scale. This is just a representation of what's going to happen. Okay? And over here, if I have y equals x squared, what happens when I do y equals 1/2 x squared? The graph will become wider. So now the graph will look like this. Just quick review of some terminology from vertex equation. So in this case, I have y equals a parentheses x minus h to the second power plus k. So here, the value of a really tells you stretch or shrink. Okay, it also tells you the direction, whether parabola or the graph opens up or down. This h value tells you left or right. And this k value tells you whether you go up or down. Okay, and in a few minutes we'll discuss this and we'll have some examples. Same idea here. A tells you stretch or shrink. H, whether you move left or right. H stands for horizontal shift, and K really stands for up or down. And in this case, the graph will be an absolute value, which is a V shape. All right, so probably the most important thing we can do in this video is actually look at some examples. What do we know? Okay, the question is whether it opens up or down, shifts how, where is the vertex, and I would like to add additional question, should be actually question A, what about parent function? Okay, so I would also ask you to write parent function. Now, parent function means whether it's linear, quadratic, or absolute value. So question number 1, the parent function is a V shape. that goes through 0, 0. Okay, so first question, opens up or down? This means opens up. And how do I know this? In this case, this number is positive. There's like a positive 1. So first opens up. Now shifting. This is like x plus h, x plus 3. So this means 3 left. Okay, I'm moving left 3 units. Now, do I move up or down? I really do not, because it's plus 0. Okay, so this is your k. So we don't go up or down. So my new vertex will be -3, 0. Question number 2. The parent function is your parabola y equals x squared. This is a U-shaped letter. Okay, first question, opens up or down? I'm gonna say up. How do I know it? It's 1x squared. Do we go left or right? And the answer is no, because it's technically x plus 0 squared plus 2. Okay, so this is like x plus 0, which means I don't go left or right. But what about going up or down? I am going, okay, I should say open up. And this plus 2 means 2 up. So move 2 up. So what is my new vertex? Since I am not moving left or right, the x value will stay the same, but I'm moving 2 units up. So the vertex is 0, 2. Again, vertex is the most important point on a parabola or absolute value function. Question 3 gets interesting because of this negative. The parent function, again, is y equals x squared. Okay. And here we have x plus 1. So this means left 1. Now, do I move up or down? The answer is no, because there is no k. But also, this negative tells me opens down. Okay, so this function will open down. So my new vertex, okay, since I'm moving left, it will be -1. I'm not moving up or down, so it's 0. And the negative sign in front of parentheses really tells me that the parabola will open down, but it's not going to really affect the vertical shift. Question number 5. The parent function is v, opens down. Okay, x minus 2 means right 2. Plus 5, this 5 is outside, that's your k, which means up 5. So your new vertex, please remember, the original vertex is 0, 0. So the new vertex would be 2, 5. And last problem, okay, you have parent function, which is your u, opens up. X plus 3, okay, means move left 3. And -1 means 1 down, so down 1. So what's my new vertex? My new vertex is -3, -1. I hope this video helps you to understand this topic. Again, in class, we will explore this. We will talk about the shifting and all the things. But this is the summary of this rich lesson. So thank you for watching this video. Have a good day.